Trepang2, a fear-influenced new FPS shooter focused on... Wait, what is that? Cheats? Hold on. What are these? Like, cheats that you unlock in the game? You pay for this, though, right? This is like a season pass or, like, battle pass. What is this? Hold on. I have to complete a mission on... Wait, you get this through playing the game? What? You mean, fuck... sorry, my bad. I'm just not used to games doing that anymore. Anyways. Trepang2, a fear-inspired movement-heavy FPS with elements of horror, stealth, and superhuman abilities. Trepang2 stands apart from modern FPS by not focusing heavily on tactical, realistic combat, where half the game is spent looking through an optic or an iron sight. No regenerating health, leveling up, aiming down sights, or frequent autosaving here. Draw gunfights and bullet time action. To start, there is no Trepang1. To be entirely frank, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be called Trepang2 or Trepang squared, but I've heard everyone call it Trepang2, so that's what I'll call it too. One of the strongest aspects of the game is the gunplay. The spectacle of fireworks, sparks, and gun smokes of violence makes the gunplay amazing. The gameplay has one goal and one goal only, and that's to make you feel like a John Wick-style badass. The various maps in the game take place in many eclectic stages, from uninspired, creepy office buildings to snowy tundras to beautiful mansions with tons of destructible environments. The details within the maps are dull. You will encounter more than one antiseptic long hallway that leads into a claustrophobic room where your goal is to beat off 10 enemies. I didn't miss much by not exploring, and the times that I did explore, the stages went unrewarded. During my playthrough, only a few missions felt tonally different from the starting missions. The Firearms featured will pander to all the HK fanboys who never got to handle anything cooler than the VP9, because HK hates you, because you're poor. We have the Mark 23, VHS-D2, SL8 with a 3.5 optic, and for non-hipster guns we have the classic Franchi Spaz 12, which is still pretty hipster, a Chris Vector, and a tri-barreled M249 saw that's been outfitted to have rotating barrels similar to what you'd expect out of a minigun configuration. Listen, I'm gonna be real honest with you. I don't know what the hell this M249 is supposed to be, and it's a bit of an unwieldy mess, okay? When I tried to actually use it against real enemies, I mainly got my ass kicked. It's good for some boss and some stronger enemies, but it's pretty fucking slow. I don't know. The gunplay itself is pretty good. The weapons don't feel like they have any real weight behind them, which is perhaps the intended feature because you are somewhat of a superhuman. When shot, the enemies ragdoll and fly about as if pushed by a tremendous force. The sense of recoil management isn't really there, primarily because you're hip firing all the time. This can be annoying when you need to be precise and hit a small target, but this does not happen often. There is an option to customize your firearms, but it's fairly shallow. You can change some attachments and customize the camo on it. Some firearms will be outfitted with a scope, suppressor, laser module, etc. It's all very by the books, and not a huge mechanic of the game. One of the cooler features is the ability to dual-wield weapons intended for two-handed use. You can unlock this feature around the middle of the game. Unfortunately, you can't mix and match firearm types, it has to be the same model. So, no SMG plus shotgun combo or shotgun plus minigun baby. It's quite unfortunate and definitely something that I wish they would address. Using the two powerful mechanics of invisibility or bullet time, you turn any halfway mediocre corridor shooting encounter into a symphony of headshots and perfectly executed violence. Invisibility, which you can toggle at a moment's notice, will allow you to slip into the shadows after you've broken line of sight, reposition and flank the enemies effortlessly. The enemy AI responds quite well to the obfuscation. Going off your last position, they'll focus on the last piece of cover they saw you hide behind, allowing you to flank and get value out of your power. There's also some quasi-stealth parts that are completely optional, and never once during the campaign did I ever actually engage in anything resembling non-violent means of progressing the story. Yeah, the return of bullet time. One of the best mechanics in any single-player shooter that they can possibly add. Bullet time slows down gunfights, allowing you to react quickly and precisely to eliminating multiple targets. Bullet time makes every gunfight feel unique and opens up many different options to dispatching the enemies thrown at you. Given the arsenal of firearms at your disposal, there are many different ways to handle any situation in the game, and nearly all of the firearms are viable. Bullet time really shines when paired with the game's fairly robust movement system. My absolute favorite thing, and definitely Trepang2's best feature, is the movement. I loved ripping through the map, sliding into a momentum jump, and clearing 10 feet of distance, only to bullet time myself into a group of enemies. It made many encounters memorable and definitely should have been something I feel the developers tried to encourage more. That's actually one of my biggest complaints about Trepang2. They seem to be okay with having fairly uninspired set pieces for the game. The dark, moody lighting does allow you to appreciate the late stages of Unreal Engine 4, but the graphics are never breathtaking. More than a few bosses, including the last boss, had stages where the parkour aspect of the game was never utilized. I only felt rewarded for doing some sick mastery of parkour when the game had interesting areas with multiple different vertical objects for me to scale, and there are so few maps in the game that let you really see what the parkour is capable of. I am surprised with how much the movement is not talked about more as a feature. The speed increase of sliding adds so much more viability and tactics to the stealth and bullet time mechanics. Now, let's talk about the story. You play as Subject 106, a prisoner of the Horizon Corporation. Horizon Corporation is led by Jeff Bezos, Anton Lazar, who is funding superhuman research on various subjects. 106 goes to various Horizon Corporation black sites that have fallen to failed experiments to help eradicate the escaped creatures. Honestly, the story is not important. It's never really forced on you, and all the cutscenes are skippable, and nothing truly memorable even really happens. If you're playing this game to get deeply invested in the lore, you're going to be left disappointed. The game length itself is also fairly short. I completed all the story missions and some side quests in about 5 hours straight. This is what I would expect out of a $30 price tag. The side missions, which don't need to be done to progress the story at all, are pretty much just horde mode style missions where you have to survive while a timer ticks down. They're fun, but I think it was a smart idea to not include them as forced missions within the story. The boss fights are shallow to say the least as well. Mothman, a boss that you encounter fairly early on in the game, has a weak spot that you shoot until he dies. Another boss that you encounter just has a large health pool and not much else. The final boss of the game takes place in a fairly cramped corridor that really deprived me of movement, and I wasn't impressed. The developers deserve praise for their passion for the FPS genre, their quality AI, and their ability to make movement and gunplay very fun. Areas where Trepang2 are weak are the story, the map design, and boss design, but this is more than made up for with the harmonizing of wonderful gameplay mechanics. Trepang2 knew what it wanted to focus on, and it did a spectacular job for an indie game. And for me, it gets an easy 8.3 out of 10. In a world of early access indie games, Trepang2 comes out of the gate with a complete title that they have followed up with a season pass. Trepang2 is a done and finished shipped product with a clear vision that focuses on the important part of what makes a game good, the gameplay. Although this game is new, and the game does feel old, but it doesn't feel stale, it is a welcome inclusion into the world of the modern-day FPS games, where companies are spending a fortune on producing products that are half the quality of Trepang2. Trepang2 is the future of the Fear series, and I'm okay with that. Personally, for Trepang3, I would like to see movement get buffed and be a central part of the gameplay mechanic, and just as big of a consideration as bullet time and stealth are. I feel like this game is definitely going to go places, and as far as the series goes, I'm excited to see what happens next with this game. The developers at Trepang Studios, being a 4-man team, definitely do deserve all of the praise that they're getting. As of right now, this game has overwhelmingly positive on Steam with 91% positive reviews, and I have to say it is well deserved. If you guys are interested in this game, I definitely recommend picking it up. What is this shit? Is this like an actual Renaissance drawing? Like, is this something Michelangelo? I don't know. It's the only fucking Renaissance thing I think of. It looks really good though. Like, whoever did the art on this did an incredible fucking job. I don't know what the hell this is supposed to be, but the art direction for this right here is fucking insanely good. That is like super cool. Like, if this was like an actual painting that you could buy, like a print of it, I wouldn't buy one because that's kind of creepy to have hanging around. But like, look at that fucking donger. It's definitely like the kind of thing I could see people buying, man. Like this. Should we Google that name? Hold on. Where's Sally? Oh, okay, it is him. I was like, dude, that is amazing. I was like, there's no way some fucking talented art school kid just drew this as like a throwaway thing for like an actual This is like actual art. We're appreciating. Look at this chat. We're learning stuff today. Some weird physician dude out there that probably lives by himself and makes like $300,000 a year and fucking drives a BMW. You walk inside of his like fucking pristine modern day house. He's got like this shit hanging there in the fucking right in the doorway to let you know that he is in fact an eccentric guy, right? Then you sit down, you eat fucking dinner with him. You drink the wine that you know you shouldn't fucking drink, and then you wake up and all your fucking kidneys are gone and you're attached to somebody else. Right? Maybe I'm just getting weird with it. I don't know. That's exactly the kind of bullshit that I can fucking see happening. Shit. That's a lot of fucking money for a goddamn bottle of water. Get the fuck out of here, $5.50. Go fuck yourself.